Are you struggling to think of that last-minute gift idea with Christmas right around the corner? Well, I got the perfect gift for you, and it's a Manta sleep mask. Manta is a company that's dedicated to giving its customers a good night's sleep. Their sleep masks are extremely comfortable. The band adjusts to any head size, the eye cups are adjustable, and the accessories are phenomenal. They have steam cups, they have cooling eye cups, they have aromatherapy, they also have many different types of masks. This is the Manta Sound Mask, which comes with adjustable Bluetooth speakers that you can connect to your phone and listen to whatever sounds you want to as you fall asleep. And these are all reasons why a Manta sleep mask is a great Christmas gift for the loved one in your life. Because gifting someone a good night's sleep shows that you care about them. You care about their health, you care about their well-being. So if you want to get a Manta sleep mask for yourself, or you want to get it as that last-minute Christmas gift, check out the link at the top of my description box below and use the promo code Uprise for 10% off your order. Doing so also helps out the channel, so you're giving me a gift in a way. And with Manta, you can stop stressing about what to get for Christmas because they got you covered. Shout out to them for sponsoring the channel. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise postgame show presented by Manta Sleep Mask. Eric, we got a W to talk about today as the Blazers snapped their 7-game losing streak by beating the Phoenix Suns 109-104. The Blazers outscore the Suns 60-43 in the second half to take care of business and get their first home win in almost a month. We were live over with our friends at Suns Valley Podcasts. Eric was there earlier than I was. I was there for the second half, so shout out to you if you joined us. That's why the stream is going live a little bit later. Was a fun and entertaining stream as the Suns just collapsed. That team's in trouble, and the Blazers have some good things to write home about in this one. Eric, how's it going?
Oh, pretty fun game, I guess, for the Blazers at least. Had some weird performances, and hopefully Sharpe's okay. But other than that, feel pretty good to see them get a win.
Yeah, nice to see a win. The Blazers moved to 7-19 on the year. This was a game where the Blazers finally played some defense, only 104 points given up to the Suns. They had been struggling with that lately. And the offense came around there in the second half, 60 points for this Blazers team. They had 49 in the first half, so it looked like they went on a little bit of a lull there. They almost let Phoenix get back in this game after they were up by as much as 14 there in the fourth. The Suns were able to cut it to 3. But Anfernee Simons, with about 15 seconds left, hits a step-back 15-foot floater. A step-back mid-range floater is kind of a wild concept. You know, he has some creative ways of getting shots off in that range. We saw him hit a dagger against the Phoenix Suns last year over Mikal Bridges at the start of the season, where he hit a right-hand running hook, and he does it again. A little different situation, game, and score, but similar creativity with that shot, and he's back. He's been looking phenomenal, and I'm excited to talk about him, excited to talk about Jeremy Grant, because he's been playing really good basketball, has another really good offensive game tonight, the return of Nurk, Nas, and Drew Eubanks, and this was just an interesting game, interesting second half especially to watch, and most of the time I watch it, I just focus on the Blazers, but this game, since we were on the Suns channel, I was focusing on the Suns, man, and my goodness, that team has some serious problems that they need to figure out, and the Blazers exploited them.
Yeah, Blazers go 14 of 28 from 3, 50%. That's pretty much the difference considering Suns shot only 5 of 23, 21%. So really good shooting performance, but at the same time, Phoenix's defense, man, gave us a lot of open looks, especially on corner kickouts, and Blazers were hitting them. So tonight, the three-pointer, if you're going to live and die by it, they survive by hitting a bunch of threes.
Yeah, where do you want to start in this game? By the way, this stream is probably going to be a little bit shorter as we're live on the Suns channel. I, want to try and efficiently knock out this post-game show. So where do you want to start, Eric?
Let's talk about Sharpe.
Yeah.
So he was questionable to play with an adductor injury. That's a new injury, or not necessarily a new injury, but in terms of like our lexicon of knowing like certain injuries, it's been I think over the last couple of years, we've had several players just show up on the injury report with an adductor injury for some reason. It's like a hip, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
like something in your hip, or
if we have any doctors in chat, they
upper
can
leg or whatever. Anyways, Sharpe was questionable to play tonight, and then he ends up playing. He gets into foul trouble. Both him and Simons both had 2 fouls really early in this game, and yeah, it's like in your thigh, groin, hip area. So, but anyways, so Sharpe leaves the game, and you think it's just because of foul trouble. And then later in the first half, I forgot if it was at the end of the first quarter or beginning of the second quarter, he comes back in, but he only is in the game for a short amount of time and goes back out again. And I was on the stream with Gabe and Sundo, so I was like, oh, did I miss him get his third foul or something? But he doesn't play the rest of the half. And then start of the second half, we see Brogdon come out and start the second half. So it was so obviously it flared up or something, or they didn't want to risk him playing anymore in this game. But yeah, it was obviously bugging him. He had only had one shot in this game. Was pretty much like if he didn't foul twice, I don't think he would have noticed he was even playing in this game. So much like the last 3 games before this one, it seemed like it was headed towards another one of those games where he just wasn't a factor in this one.
So an abductor strain, is that an overuse injury?
Probably. I mean, any kind of muscle or that kind of injury can, I don't know. It's hard to know if it's just that you pulled it or if it's overuse, but it could be either.
But I mean, we talked about his minutes being up there recently and him looking gassed, and I mean, an overuse injury like that, Malcolm Brogdon, after a stretch where he played extremely heavy minutes for multiple games in a row, had an overuse injury earlier this season. So that might lend a little credence to, probably shouldn't have a 5-game stretch or whatever it was where he's playing 40 minutes a game. Normally, coaches try and keep it under that for that reason. Hopefully, he's able to get that rested and get that healed.
I mean, I know that it can get worse with overuse, obviously. Yeah. And it's something that only gets better with rest. So, yeah, maybe since we have the other guards healthy, maybe we should just consider sitting Sharpe a few games. It kind of sucks because we went through that stretch where we barely played. We had like several days off in between games, and now we're in a stretch where we play either or like Saturday, Sunday we played, and now we play every other day for a while, and have several more back-to-backs this month. So I think the only real break we have with more than one day off is Christmas and Christmas Eve, right? And I think we play pretty much every other day or every day the rest of the month outside of those 2 days, if I'm not mistaken. There's not a lot of time to rest in between games, so maybe they should just sit him out a few games.
I think they have December 30th and 31st off, and that's their only other stretch of 2 days off other than the 24th and 25th, over Christmas. So, yeah, it is a more jam-packed schedule. Definitely should rest him, though. I mean, Scoot had a good game last game, and he only played 22 minutes, and I had a problem with that. When he's playing that well, you need to let him build off that. And, I mean, in general, I think he should be getting more minutes because he can learn from his lumps, too. And this game was kind of a mixed bag for him as well. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. As far as Sharpe goes, yeah, you probably want to rest him. I mean, if he's going to be going out there and playing like he has the past 3 games, there's no point not to rest him because he's been pretty ineffective, and there's no point playing him through an injury when he can't play like himself.
So are you starting Scoot, or are you going to keep bringing him off the bench? If Sharpe,
I'd start Scoot. I'd start Scoot. I mean, you can start, but I don't think it really matters. I just think Scoot should get his minutes. However he gets those minutes, whatever. If he comes off the bench, he should be playing 30 minutes a game with Sharpe out. They'll probably start Brogdon. That's what they're used to. And, I mean, I don't know. Like, Scoot has played better against bench lineups. I guess it's less pressure, but I would be curious to see if he could take that and perform against starting lineups better than he did at the start of the year. Like, can he build off his play as of late in the starting lineup against starters? And how does that look compared to when he was starting to start this season? That would be something I'm curious in finding out.
Yeah. And we know that Chauncey lately, last game it was Brogdon, Sharpe, and Anfernee. Tonight, without Sharpe, he plays Scoot, so it's probably just because Sharpe wasn't in there, but they did finish the game tonight with the 3 guards and Jeremy and Ayton. So at least they had 2 bigger players at the 4 and 5, but for a stretch of this game, they had Thibault at the 4 and Jabari at the 5, and in the second half, it didn't work at all. In the first half, Jabari, I thought, was the difference in keeping the Blazers kind of somewhat close, because he just came in and provided such a spark, made a 3, had a couple offensive rebounds, putbacks, and stuff like that. So I thought he was great, but a lot of his minutes in the first half came alongside Ayton, which freed him up to kind of roam around without much attention. And but yeah, second half he didn't really do much.
Yeah, so we'll see if they have an update on Shaedon Sharpe at some point. Hopefully they do. But yeah, definitely want to get him healthy before we start playing him again. Especially heavy minutes, because he's had stretches where he's played absurd minutes in a short period of time. So definitely controlling those, I think, is ultimately going to be a good thing. What do you want to go into next? We got a lot that we can go into.
Well, let's just go into Scoot then, I guess, because...
Yeah. So, well, let's start with the most positives. So, Grant, both those guys have pretty good games today. Let me pull up the box score.
Well, Ant was terrible in the first half. I know,
but he bounced back, and he was bad last game in the first half as well, and he bounced back as well. And I mean, that's all you can ask for. Sometimes he's going to have off shooting nights, and this was a tough night for him. But 9 for 23, 2 for 7 from 3, like that's an inefficient night. But that's the thing that people have always critiqued Ant on is when he's not scoring the ball, when his three-point shot isn't falling, like he's unable to have an impact. In this game, he has 7 assists and only 1 turnover. I thought he also had a couple of impressive defensive possessions on Booker in this game. I thought he did make an impact in other ways. And then in the second half, he got going after an awful first half. So he bounced back, made some shots, and that's the thing is, even if he's not shooting the ball well, he's a legitimate scorer and he can break out at any moment in a game. And defenses have to respect that. So as long as he stays aggressive, he's going to continue to draw the attention of defenses. And when he's passing the ball like he's passed it, he is able to make things easier for his teammates, and he's able to make his teammates better. I hate that saying, but he's able to make things easier on them. He's able to get them good looks. He's able to spark some ball movement, drive and kick, and get the offense running. And the offense has been stagnant this year without him, and I think he's definitely helped it even when his shot isn't falling. So I think that's an area of his game that's grown. But then down the stretch, like, you got a guy that you can give the ball to and he can get a bucket late in a shot clock, up 3. You're trying to wind down the game clock, right? You don't want to shoot quick because time is in your favor, but at the end of the shot clock, you need someone that can go create and get you a tough bucket. And that's exactly what he did. And we saw it last year. We've seen it. You need that star guard that can go and get you a bucket. Even if Scoot Henderson becomes an all-star caliber player, like, I don't know if he's going to be quite Anfernee Simons level in terms of, like, give him the ball, get out of the way, like, 4 on the shot clock, he's going to get you a bucket, right? Anfernee Simons is just that pure scorer that every team needs to go get you a bucket in that situation. So in this game, like, you can look at the 9 for 23, but there's a lot more to analyze than just that, and I think he did some other things, and that's something that we've been asking for.
Yeah, and his numbers, his shooting numbers at least. You remember that play where I think it was Eubanks, he crossed over and got to the hoop and dunked it?
Yeah.
That was awesome. I love seeing that from Anfernee. He had another one of those earlier in the game, and he kind of went to dunk it, but just kind of like laid it in, and it like rimmed in and out. So that probably should have been a make. And then he had several of his like little mid-range jumpers that rimmed in and out. So he was really close to having a much better game than the numbers indicate. And also, I counted at least 3 times in the first half and at least once in the second half, maybe even twice in the second half, where he drove, had heavy contact. Almost anyone else in the league is getting the whistle there. And for some reason, he was starting to get frustrated again, like he did a couple of games ago. Didn't get a technical in this one. But he should have gotten some free throws in this game. So a few of his misses too, I feel like there was a lot of contact and he just didn't get a call. But I'm glad. This is a sign of a good player, I think, is when, because it's always difficult, right? If you're a player and you create a couple of shots and you miss them, it's sometimes can be tough because like they need him to still keep scoring because they don't really have anyone, especially with Sharpe not playing. They don't have a lot of creation. I mean, I guess Grant can create a shot kind of, but they don't have a lot of that in the lineup. So they need him to keep going. So it's tough to have the confidence to keep trying those things and shooting when you've missed a few in a row. But it's a really good sign when you see someone who isn't shooting great that night, but in the clutch when he needs to get a basket, can step up and still have the confidence to make a tough shot. And that's what you need. And I thought Ant did a good job of not shying away from what he does best just because it wasn't falling for him early in this game or he wasn't getting foul calls.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, he has utmost confidence in his game, even if he's missing shots. It's like, oh, I'm missing. I'll figure it out at some point. Like, I'm going to keep shooting because at some point it's going to change. And that's the type of confidence you need to have as a scorer in the league. So I love that out of him. That's exactly what you need to see from him. And, you know, it's huge to have that level of score on our team because we missed that this year. We've been near the bottom of the league in terms of offense. So for some reason, like, he has his haters out there. I don't really understand it. Like, anybody that can go get you a bucket off the dribble, like, doesn't play the right way according to some people and this and that. I mean, this dude has looked like an all-star caliber player this year. That's all we can ask for, right? Like, you want him to take a jump, and he's averaging around 6 assists a game. He did it without turning the ball over today, despite the attention that's being paid to him. He's being treated like a star, and he has handled that pretty well. I think his three-point shot is in a bit of a slump right now. When that breaks out, then you're going to see another level of Anfernee Simons because he's doing all this, and he was like 35% from three going into this year, which would be the lowest percentage in the last 4 years. So if he's able to start dialing in that 3-point shot and start being deadly as that shooter that we know he can be, then he becomes basically unguardable. Then what level of play is he at? Because I think even without hitting 3-point shots, he's been a really good player this year because he's made the right pass. He's attacked the rim well. He's gotten to the free throw line a little bit more than last year. Defensively, mixed bag, but that's all you can ask for, right? Out of a scorer like him, I don't think it's quite been as bad as people act like he is defensively. So once he starts hitting threes, that's really what I want to see.
Yeah. I was first half was kind of okay defensively, but second half I thought he was really good on defense, including that one possession where Devin Booker had him isolated and forced him into a bad air ball shot clock violation. I thought Anfernee really played well on that end as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, I love what he's doing right now. He's due for a big game when he starts hitting shots. I know he had like a 38-point game against the Clippers, but that's really just what we need to see from him now is just start dialing in that 3-point ball.
Nate Jones an hour ago tweeted, all the Simons haters / doubters don't know who.
I agree with them. I agree with them. I don't know what it is with people where it's just they hate anybody that can score the ball, man. Like, at the end of the day, you got to put more points on the board than the other team. And a guy that's able to do that at the level that Simons does is a huge asset. It's just like we've almost been spoiled because we've had Damian Lillard for so long that our lead guard is only averaging 25 a game. That's nothing. But before Dame, it was like I can't remember seeing a player average 25. Like Aldridge was like 22, 23 at his peak. Roy, the same thing as well, So like when Aldridge left and Dame started averaging 25, 26, it was like a huge deal, and he wasn't even doing it that efficiently. Ant's doing it this season more efficiently, I believe, if you just look at true shooting percentage, than Dame did it his first year after Aldridge. And Ant is younger than Dame was his first year after Aldridge. So it's like his trajectory right now, he keeps getting better. You can tell he works on stuff. I just don't understand the complaints. I don't understand the hate that he gets from a portion of this fan base. Like, he is a pillar. He is absolutely a pillar. Can he be the best player on a championship team? Probably not, but there's only a few guys in the league that can, right? Can he be a number 2? I think he can be a number 2 on a championship caliber team. It's just you got to get the right number 1 for that. So going forward, that's obviously the thing to figure out for this organization is who's going to be your superstar caliber player. But Ant can play off him, man. Once he starts hitting these 3-point shots and being able to play off Scoot, off Brogdon by being able to knock down 3-point shots because he's kind of struggled, been off and on, then you're really going to see another level of play. And here's the thing, is it's not like defenses are not respecting his 3-point shot, even though he's been below his standard from shooting the ball. They still respect it. Part of the reason why he's not shooting 40% from threes is because he takes tough threes. He takes a lot of threes. So volume plus difficulty does play into that, just like it did with Dame. If Dame just shot wide open catch and shoot threes, he probably would have shot 50% from 3 last year. So you can't just look at percentages, but he's spacing the floor. I think it makes it a little easier for guys to drive. Like, he's just having a huge impact on this offense right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he's doing it without, he's not getting a ton of help. He has 7 assists tonight, but Ayton was at one point 2 for 9. I don't know. He started hitting a few shots, but he struggled from the mid range as well. You don't have Sharpe out there. So I felt like Scoot's not gonna. Scoot came in, got a wide open corner kick out 3, and airballed it. A lot of, I don't know, he has to do a lot. He has to basically be Dame out there, and I think he's doing a pretty good job considering how much attention. Because that's the other thing, he was getting double teams that he's having to split or go around, and I think he's doing a pretty good job of doing that. And tonight, I don't know how many did he finish with, 1 turnover or 2?
One turnover
just
for
one,
7 assists.
1 turnover, yeah. So that's really good job of handling the ball and the pressure that he's seeing with only one turnover. So I'll take a little bit of a bad shooting night as long as you're not compounding that by turning the ball over a ton.
Yep, absolutely. I feel like we've glossed over Jeremy Grant in previous post-game shows because he's playing really good basketball.
Been consistent all year, so it's hard to get too high or too low on Jeremy because he's just been good almost every game.
Yeah, averaging almost 23 a game, 45% from the field, 40% from three. I saw a metric that was like 3-point difficulty, and he shoots some of the most difficult threes according to that of any forward in the league. Like, he shoots a lot of contested threes. The fact that he's shooting 40% right now is huge. Now, he had a shooting slump to start the season, and I assume he's going to have another shooting slump, and it's always interesting to see how he plays offensively when the three-point shot isn't falling. But he's been consistently knocking down threes for basically the last 15 to 20 games after the slow start to the season. So you love to see that. Defensively, still, he had a stretch there where he's guarding KD, and every time they set him a ball screen, Grant just struggled to get through it. And I was saying on the stream with Gabe with Suns Valley, I was saying they just need to spam pick and roll with KD because Grant's struggling to get through screens like he always does. But everything else, fine. Just solid, man. I've talked about trading him. I don't think the Blazers have to, especially when he's playing like this. Some of his finishes he had in this game were really impressive. And he just attacks, For as much as we give DeAndre Ayton crap for not attacking the rim, not attacking defenders, Jeremy Grant just puts his head down and goes at guys. And sometimes it results in some bad shots, but I love the aggressiveness and I love the willingness to just take it to the heart of the defense and try and get all the way to the rim. It ends up with him getting to the free throw line. Sometimes he'll have big games where he's shooting 8, 9, 10 free throws because of it. And that's the type of attitude you want from a front court player who's athletic and can finish.
Yeah, I still think you got to capitalize on his value now, but the team is not going to trade him, so it doesn't really matter what I think.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing, and this is perfect in my mind. 15 shots. He's been up around 20 a lot this year. You can tell in some of the interviews he's been uncomfortable with the amount of shots he's had to take, or sometimes having to force tough shots. But he's I like this range. Get him about 15 shots. You have your creation and stuff like that, but I don't think you really need him to go as ISO heavy as he did at the beginning of the season when he was getting over those 20 shots. But I'd kind of like to see him and Sharpe, when he's healthy again, flip. So Sharpe's been getting around 15 to 18 shots, but I'd like him over 20, and I'd like Grant a little more in that range, especially if he's hitting, half of them or shooting well from three. I think it'll improve his efficiency a little bit, and just be a little more selective. As you mentioned, he takes a lot of tough shots. Just maybe not have that drop off for the second half of the season like he did last year.
Yeah, and I'm a big proponent of just make the right play, right? So a scorer like him, you want him to be aggressive, but you want him to try and make the right play. If the right play is taking 30 shots in a game, then take 30 shots in a game. He should make a good amount of them if that's the right play, hypothetically. So if it's passing the ball, make the right pass. The critique that I've had for Grant, especially at the start of the year, was when he would over dribble and when he would not make the right pass when it was there. I think he's done a better job of not over dribbling as of late. It does help, obviously, having Anfernee Simons back and more guards to create where he doesn't feel like he has to go one-on-one all the time. He still had his moments, but he's a scorer. You're going to give the ball to him occasionally and just let him try and go to work. But a game like this, he has 4 assists. That's a good amount for him, 15 shots, 4 assists, and he makes over half the shots.
6 or 7 last game, right?
Yeah. So that's the thing is, last couple of games, he's been passing the ball a little bit more because he can collapse the defense. And that's the thing is, he's so good going towards the rim that multiple guys flock to him. And there was times earlier this season where he was trying to force shots against 3 defenders and he had no chance of finishing because the paint was too packed. And it was man, you just need to make the right pass. Just read the help defense. read the defenders that are coming to you, see where they're coming from, because the thing is when a defender helps, he's usually coming from an offensive player. He's leaving an offensive player to come help to you. So wherever he's helping from, there should be a teammate open there. We have more shooting now, so there's more viable options for kick-out passes. But that's the thing is when he draws the defense, like if he does have a lane to go get close to the rim and jump into the shot blocker's chest and try and finish over him, like go ahead. He had a play like that on Nurkic that was a really impressive finish. But there's times where defenders will help early on his drives where he's needed to kick out. I think he's starting to do a better job of that, and I think it's reflected in the past 2 nights.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, people have misconstrued what I say all year. Grant's good. He's been playing good. I just think there's multiple ways you can build a team, and you definitely need players like Grant eventually on the team. I just think in order to maximize the potential ceiling of a rebuild, I'm not saying you will, because finding another player better than Grant or the same level as Grant even 3 years from now or whatever isn't exactly easy. But I feel like his value right now, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to capitalize it as much as you could right this season. So I would, considering there's not going to be a ton of sellers, and Grant is going to be one of the best players available if he is at the deadline, I just think you have to explore that kind of move. And it's nothing against Grant. He's been really, really consistent and good this year. And but I think that's a reason why a lot of teams are going to bid for his services.
Yeah.
I think you can start a bidding war and get some really good value for him. And that could give you some really valuable assets on top of some valuable assets that you've already acquired. And then you're starting to talk about having the pieces like OKC has, not to that extent, but maybe more like the Pelicans, right? They're in, like, any person that becomes available, it's always like, well, the Pelicans could offer a huge package for him because they have all these picks and stuff. So eventually, if we want to pair that star forward in the middle and push all the chips in, or whether it's hitting on a draft pick or whatever, just having multiple chances to hit on a draft pick, I think that's, it's not guaranteed, because we went through this before the Dame trade, but most rebuilds that go draft pick heavy don't end up working out. So it's not perfect, and there's no right way to do it or wrong way to do it. So it could work out keeping Jeremy too. But I think, I don't know. I just think in order to make this work, I think you just need to find a Jeremy type player that's more in the timeline of our younger guys that can grow with them and just provide a little more energy than Jeremy probably will as he ages a little bit.
Yeah, it's all about maximizing the chances to win a championship in the long run, right? And it's no clear path towards that. I understand why people want to keep a player as good as Jeremy Grant is. I do tend to agree with your sort of thinking. Is it takes the right deal, right? You don't just trade him for anything.
Right,
but if like somebody offers 3 good first round picks, it's hard to say no, right? Like it has to be the right trade. You can keep him going into next year. Cronin needs to do due diligence and explore what's out there. Why not? Like, even if you don't plan on trading him, just see what's out there. And maybe there's a deal that's so good for the future, for maximizing the odds to win a championship, that you have to take it, right? Like, it shouldn't be something where he's untouchable and they don't even take calls. They should explore the market for him. That doesn't mean they have to trade him. Doesn't mean just trade him for anything. Has to be for the right deal. But I mean, just see what's out there. See what's out there for every veteran player on this roster is the way I'm looking at things, because seeing what's on the table doesn't mean you have to take it, but it does give you a good feel for what you can get, and it might surprise you. So That's the thing with Grant. But leave a like on the stream, by the way. We're close to 100 likes. It helps out the channel. Grant's been great. Go ahead.
I want to read a couple of comments. So Elizabeth Allen says OG and Pascal will be the bidding war wings, but you still have to deal with Masai, who's completely delusional.
Yeah.
And dude, okay, so I saw this post today from a friend of our channel, Samson Folk. He said that he kind of wants the Raptors to go after some unheralded or guys in the NBA right now that just need a starting spot or a lead guard spot or more of an opportunity than they're getting. That could be a number of players, whether that's like an Emmanuel Quickley who's behind Jalen Brunson, or Jaden Ivey who's for some reason being benched by Monty Williams or coming off the bench or whatever
stuff. Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So, it's fair thing. Like, you can still go young, but it doesn't have to be reliant on hitting on a draft pick or whatever, which I think is pretty logical. I mean, I can see both sides. But like a bunch of the comments from Raptors fans were like, yeah, let's get Jalen Williams from Oklahoma City. Let's get J-Dub. J-Dub's the guy. He'd be perfect in that situation. It's like, you're not freaking getting J-Dub. Like, there's not a single player on your roster. You could trade your whole freaking roster if it works salary-wise, and all the picks you had, you don't have enough to get Jalen Williams from OKC right now. And so, like, but that's like, I don't know, like, Masai's taught them that they have to like just fleece every single trade. So I don't even know if he's going to end up trading Pascal and OG because he expects to get so much more back in return. So like, I don't even know, like, in theory, freaking OG and Pascal, that should be a huge haul for the Raptors. But I think Masai's ego and his like just delusionalness is going to get in the way of that. So they could end up being the best players traded, but I don't even know if they're going to try to trade him at this point, like, or what's going on.
Yeah, so I mean, if they're not available for anything realistic, then what's the best player on the market? Zach LaVine, I guess, but I think a lot of teams would want Jeremy Grant over him. So yeah, you explore the trade market 100%. Let's go ahead.
And then there was one other one. Oh, Taylor says, was that just a guess or have you heard that? Well, I mean, I don't think it's any secret that this team likes Jeremy. And, when you trade for someone and they're willing to re-sign with you in unrestricted free agency and all that, whether you overpaid him or not. And, I mean, Jeremy's he's another one of those, like we always mention this about Anfernee, but Jeremy's like a great guy too, and just a tremendous locker room guy. Never causes any issues. Everyone likes him. So, I mean, it's hard to like trade away that kind of guy, especially when he's playing well. And so I don't think they think they're that far off from turning the corner or, building this team to a winning level. So I definitely think they like Jeremy and kind of view him as untouchable. I'm hoping that's not the case. Like I said, I think you should at least explore what's out there because the value for him, I think, is really nice. But I just think they're not going to actively seek that out this year at least.
Yep. Anyway, let's.
Let me just read one more real quick. MJGG123 says, I see Eric's point, but this team would really miss his game. But, like, what does it matter if we miss his game? Like, does that really matter?
We don't need to go super deep into, like, trade Jeremy Grant in a win. Like, we'll have a bunch of losing streams to... Right? Like, it's a debate that we'll continue to have over the next month and a half. Like, the trade deadline's February 8th. Like, I don't expect them to trade him. But, I mean, here's the thing. If you're the Blazers front office, you would put out signals like, yeah, we have no interest. So a team knows, like, okay, well, if I call them up, I got to be ready to offer something, like, truly legitimate, right? Like, don't waste our time. But I mean, it would be malpractice to not at least take calls and just see what teams are willing to offer him. Like, what's the downside with that? There is none. There absolutely is none. And if a team gets super desperate and crazy, it could definitely be a great deal for Portland. There is a scenario where there is a deal out there that increases Portland's odds of winning a championship long term by trading away Jeremy Grant. Just depends on the deal. But in the end, even if one doesn't materialize and you keep them, still doesn't mean you shouldn't take calls. So if they don't take calls on him, I'm going to be annoyed about that part because you might as well just see what's on the table. You don't have to take it. Let's talk about, let's just kind of go through the stars. We talked about Grant, talked about Simons, talked about Sharpe. He, only played 8 minutes. The other 2 guys are the guys that we got from the Suns in the Dame trade, right? Let's start with DeAndre Ayton. Chat, what do you guys think of DeAndre Ayton's game today? I want to hear what you guys think in the live chat before I start talking about his game today. Before Eric starts talking about his game today. I want to hear what you guys have to say first because I'm curious. I
was proud of him to get 4 free throws.
Yeah, 4 free throws. And I'll read off some of the comments as well. If you're new to it, we got a live chat. That's what makes this awesome. We can be very interactive here. Blazers fan says, I honestly was not too pleased with Ayton. Tomorrow said slow to position off the pass. I don't know if that's about something else. Javon says it was not good. Elizabeth Allen says more shots than points as a center who doesn't shoot threes. Brutal. He was a shot chucker tonight. JP Savvy says, I want to see a statistic of all centers in the league and see who spends the least amount of time in the paint. It has to be him. Bro shot so many jump shots. So it sounds like most of the live chat wasn't too pleased. Shelvin said, I thought he played great. He missed shots, but he had that play where he tried to get to the rim and drew a foul on Booker. Looked way more engaged on defense, rebounding, I think, because of more shots. Well, he's going against Phoenix, so I think he's going to be a little bit more motivated than he has been in prior games. I mean, I had somebody in a comment section say he's the player of the game tonight. He's 6 for 18 as a center that doesn't shoot threes. That's 33%. That is not good. And the main reason why is because he doesn't take it to the rim. He shot so many fadeaway hooks where he could have gone up strong. There was a play where Nurkic was kind of shoving him, and if he just tried to go towards the rim, I think he would have gotten a foul call, but he faded away with the shove, so it didn't look like he was shoving him. I just want him to play stronger. That's it. I just want him to play stronger. Even if he's playing hard, okay, cool. But I want him to play stronger. I want him to go to the rim. When he drew that foul on Booker, that's what I want to see. No guard can stop him if he has a head of steam and goes strong. He's DeAndre Ayton. He's getting featured in American Dad. He's that DeAndre Ayton. If you don't know what
best player or favorite player.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, just search it on the internet. But he just needs to go strong, man. That's just my number one critique is you're so big and so athletic, just go strong. And I thought there was multiple plays tonight where it's he had an opportunity to go strong and didn't. He had that fast break. One of the 6 shots he made was on a fast break where he caught the ball in the middle of paint and pulled up from 15 feet. But he had no one in front of him. He should have dunked it.
Yeah.
But fine, he made the shot. But that's just go dunk the ball. You have nobody in front of you and you're on a run. Why are you stopping from 15 feet, right? He had that play where he went against Booker and drew a foul and got to the free throw line, where he was on the roll, and you saw when he caught the ball, he caught it and stopped and looked and hesitated, and then was and then decided to go, maybe because it was Book, right? And he got a foul and got to the free throw line. I believe he was 4 for 4 from the line, so he knocked down both free throws, and it's when they trap pick and rolls, the center is out of the play because the center's at on Ant or on Sharpe or on Brogdon or on Scoot or on whoever, right? So if Ayton gets the ball in that scenario out of the trap with the center behind him, he just needs to turn and attack because all you're going to have is smaller guys on the backside trying to protect the rim. Obviously, you want to read the defense before you just start running, but he needs to have an aggressive mindset, especially when pick and rolls get trapped. and the pass comes out of the trap, because he's not going to have a center to go up against. Whoever is going to be rotating to him is going to be smaller than him, unless we're playing the Spurs and they got Wembanyama, or we're playing the Thunder and they got Chet, and for some reason those guys aren't guarding him, right? So that play was like good to see, but also like he needs to hesitate even less than that, right? But he needs to do that more, because too often I feel like he gets the ball out of the trap and turns and just shoots that 15-footer. 50% is a good mid-range percentage, but he'd be more efficient if he just attacked and got to the rim or got to the free throw line. Those are more efficient plays than a mid-range. You take the mid-range if it's there, but there's often times where, man, he has a lane to attack, and he could, because he has the athleticism, has the size, and he just doesn't play aggressive enough or strong enough. And that's kind of my critique with him from this game. Like, motor was better. I don't really have complaints with anything effort-wise like I have the past couple of games.
First half was a little wonky. I know you didn't.
Yeah. So
it was better the second half.
Yeah, like, and I'm going to try and be nice to him if he's inconsistent, but like has a good half. Like, I'll take that at this point, you know? I'm not trying to pick on the dude, but there's no reason he should have been 6 for 18 tonight. The only reason he was 6 for 18 was because he settled for shots when he could have taken it to the rim. He settled for mid-ranges.
I mean, there were multiple times where he got the ball and had a smaller guy on him. The center had switched, and he does that spin move into a fadeaway, one-legged, almost Dirk Nowitzki type. I don't understand that at all. Like, he's big enough in those situations he can just turn and power and shoot right over the top of the defender. Mm-hmm. What's weird is that spin move. He's got really good footwork, and once he catches the ball, like he's a okay enough dribbler to kind of attack off the bounce. So I don't get why he's not comfortable attacking in those situations, because like if you're in the middle of the paint, all you have to do is take a power dribble back into the defender with your backside, and then whatever side you feel him on, do that spin move the opposite way, and but spin towards the basket, not away from it, and then go up strong once you gather the ball out of it. And I used to see him do that earlier in his career.
Yeah.
Like he had some times where it was. I thought DeMarcus Cousins was like good at this, where you get the ball and you like spin baseline, and then when they cut off baseline, then you'd spin back the other way and take it hard at the basket.
Yep.
And Ayton used to do that stuff early in his career out of the post. He used to always spin and get to the basket. Now it's always spin away into a fade.
Yeah.
And I don't understand when he's trying to have this dominating mindset or whatever, how it like just it shows up like this, you know.
Yeah.
And so that he can make them all day, but so I made the comment during the game that I felt like for the last 10 games or so, he had not really passed the ball much at all out of the mid range. He was shooting it every time, and in the post he was shooting it every time. And then in the second half today, he starts passing out of it. We end up getting a bunch of open shots, open threes in the corner and stuff based on his passing.
Yeah, there was one he had a kick out, and they made like 3 extra passes, got an open 3. It was Brogdon in the far corner.
Yeah, and then we just started using him because he started passing. We started using him in the short roll a little more, and he wasn't looking for his mid range. As soon as he caught it, he was kicking out. And I felt like we got a lot of good open looks in that stretch of the second half, and I felt like that's what won us this game, was just that little stretch where we started moving the ball well. No one was settling for mid-range jumpers, and we're hitting our threes tonight. And I thought that was I don't know. It's just weird seeing him like attack sometimes, but then and it works, but then not do it again for games and games in a row, and then you see him like flashes of him being able to pass out of that situation and being a pretty good passer in some of the occasions, and then not do it for several games. So I don't know what it's going to take for him to be a little more consistent with it, but I think like just shooting the mid range every time, like you always mentioned, isn't the most efficient shot, even if you're hitting 50% of them. So I just don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, good points. Yeah, if they rotate to him hard, yeah, make the right pass. And I thought he did that in the second half. I was happy with that part of it. But that's the thing is, like, a lot of defenses, I feel like, will live with him shooting 16-footers. You know? If he's aggressive, that forces them to respect him as more of a threat.
Yeah.
And that will draw defenders, and then if he makes the right pass, then he opens up a bunch of offense. So it just comes back down to mindset with him and not being scared of contact and just being aggressive and being willing to embrace contact and taking the ball to the rim. Like today, I thought he had struggled with that, but his motor was better in the second half. He had some good kick-out passes. Like, there was some good to this game for him. I just want him to take the ball to the freaking rim, man. That's it. Just be aggressive. Like, yeah. It's rare because, like, a lot of guys, it's like, you know, remember Mario Hezonja, and it was like, Mario, stop trying to do things. right? Like, Anthony Tolliver, stop shooting so many threes. Like, in the past, it's, you know, with Nurk sometimes, it was like, stop trying, you know, stop shooting these flip shots at the rim, right? Like, in the past, a lot of guys, it's like, stop being so aggressive. With Ayton, man, it's just be aggressive. Dominate like you say you want to dominate. When he doesn't do so, I'm not going to, like, be fully pleased with a game of his. If he's aggressive and takes the ball to the rim when he gets the opportunity to, then I'll be happy. But until then, I won't be, because I feel like he's unfulfilled when he's not playing like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So, anyway, Toumani Camara, thoughts on him tonight?
He had a nice putback, was that his only three he shot? You know, shoot one? Yeah, only shot one.
Yeah, so stats on the game for Toumani: 2 for 4, 1 for 1 from 3. He had 5 points, but 9 rebounds, 3 steals, 1 block. Oh, one final thing I want to say about Ayton. I know he had 15 rebounds, but he played 40 minutes, and we gave up 14 offensive rebounds, so I don't think he did a great job controlling the defensive glass. That's the other thing I wanted to say. You can't just look at rebounding numbers and judge rebounding when a center plays almost the entire game. Like, I'm going to look at the other team's offensive rebounding, because that is more indicative of whether we control the defensive glass or not. So, you know, the blame probably goes to Jeremy Grant, but Grant only had 1 rebound in 36 minutes, but Nurk had 5 offensive boards. Eubanks had 3. So that's the center spot. So most of the time that's going to be Ayton's box out assignment. So not just going to look at rebounds. I mean, it's nice to see him have 15 rebounds, but that's not all there is to rebounding.
Yeah, I thought there was a stretch in the first half I talked about earlier where Jabari was in at the 4 with Ayton. Mm-hmm. And I felt like those two did a good job of rebounding for that stretch. But when it's just Ayton without good rebounders, he does still kind of struggle with that.
Yep. And then Toumani. So, yeah, 2 for 4, 1 for 1 from 3, 5 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block. 2 turnovers in 22 minutes. I mean, just continuing to be solid. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at how, like, he seems to be having his minutes cut lately.
Mm-hmm.
Not really doing a lot wrong, but, you know, we win the game, so it's hard to question any of that. But thought he was really good defensively, and yeah, I mean, if he continues to, I think, was that the 3rd game in a row, or did he have a game in between where he missed some threes? But
I'll look at his game log.
I feel like he's at least 3 out of the last 4 games he's been shooting the 3 better. And that's one of the main.
Yeah. So you remember that 6 for 20 game against Dallas where he shot 10 threes, only made 2, and it was like he's shooting so much. So since then, 1 for 3, 3 for 4, 0 for 4, 3 for 3, 1 for 1. So since that game, that's what, 8 for 15?
Yeah, you take it.
That's above 50%. So he's hopefully starting to find his 3-point shot. You know, we need to see a much larger sample of him shooting like he has the last 5 games in order to truly buy it. But it's efficient, and then shooting on the night, even when he went 0 for 4, he was 3 for 3 from 2. He was 7 for 10 against Utah. That was when he had 18 points. Sorry, ESPN ad. It's a waterfall. Sounds kind of nice, actually. But yeah, I mean, when he starts hitting 3-point shots, then he's truly a 3-and-D guy and a very high-level 3-and-D guy. So that's really the main thing I'm looking for him the rest of the season, just knocking down threes. So this past 5-game stretch has been nice, but need to see a little bit more to buy it.
Yep.
And then bench. So Malcolm Brogdon starts the second half for Shaedon Sharpe. He got so many open threes.
Yeah.
He must have loved playing against Phoenix tonight because they kept leaving him.
Yeah.
And he's 4 for 9 from 3.
I think only like one of those 9 was contested. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I mean, I thought Brogdon was okay. He did not handle the ball a ton because Scoot was doing a good job, at least the first half, of handling the ball outside of the turnovers. But and then Simons played a good portion of the second half. So even though Brogdon was in, when you play more with the starters, Simons is going to be the lead ball handler in those situations. So I thought it was kind of nice to have him off ball tonight more than on ball, and thought he played decently.
Yeah, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 turnover for him. Jabari Walker, good first half, 3 for 3 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, plus 13 in his 10 minutes.
Yeah, he was, like I said, he was a difference maker in the first half, just his energy on the rebounds, and hit the 3, finished in another one inside, got to the foul line. A really good first half for Walker. Didn't really do much in the second half. It's really tough when we play those 3-guard lineups with Thibault at the 4, and so you're basically have four guards out there.
Yeah.
And then you have Jabari at center, so you're undersized at basically every position. So it puts a lot of pressure on Walker. I don't think he's as good in those. Like, if you're going to play him at center, I think you need to have a bigger front court in there and not have the 3 guards, or at least a normal sized power forward in there with the undersized center. But unfortunately, this roster just isn't balanced enough to necessarily do that right now. So hopefully after a Brogdon trade later this season, we have the right pieces to get away with some minutes with Jabari at center if that's still needed. But as of right now, I think he's doing a pretty good job.
Yep. And then Scoot turns over the ball 5 times in the first half. This was his worst game in actually quite a while. But, I mean, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 0 for 2 from 3, 3 for 9 from the field. Had that really impressive left-handed and 1 finish. I mean, he's a game like this from him where he's turning over the ball and has some struggles. It's like easier to handle because he's started to show improvements. Mm-hmm. I still expect him to have these sorts of games his first year or two in the league. Like, even Damian Lillard has games where he's like 3 for 17, right? So, like, players are going to have bad games. It's definitely not as bad when it's like just looks like a bad game compared to the status quo, right? So I love what he's been showing us before this game. Had a couple impressive moments in this game. Still obvious things to work on, change of pace, going left, getting that 3-point ball more consistent. I think you saw the need for him to improve in all those areas tonight. But I think he recognizes and the coaching staff recognizes the areas that he needs to improve, and he's going to work at them. So he has a great work ethic. So at some point, I think he'll be better going left, because that's the thing is defenders just play him to his right hand, and he still tries to go right. So getting better with that left hand will just make him harder to guard. That 3-point shot, just getting those reps in the gym. He's been shooting. Before today, he was shooting, 34%? I said 34 to 35% since coming back from injury, since donning the goggles. So, continuing to get that locked in, more consistent, and then the change of pace stuff, is just going to take numerous reps and some time to be able to master that.
Yeah, and something he'd been doing really good, he did it in the first half too, was lately he's been going much stronger to the basket and attacking the rim. versus trying to shoot from a low angle and try to get it like over the defense. And tonight in the second half, I think he really struggled with that because I think he missed his first shot, but I believe he made his next three. So he was like 3 for 4 at one point, I think, in this game, and missed his last shot, 5 shots. But a lot of them were he got blocked by Eubanks twice because he kind of went away from the hoop instead of going directly at the hoop on his drives. And I think those are situations where he either needs to dump it off once he attracts the center, because we've seen we know as Blazer fans that Eubanks will leave his man to chase blocks. So you got to kind of recognize that when he's in the game, and you got to understand that when he does that, you got someone open, and you need to like communicate with that person. If Eubanks leaves you, you need to get to this spot so I can hit you or get an angle where I can pass to you. And so yeah, I think he struggled with that a little bit tonight in the second half at least. But yeah, I don't think it was like terrible, even though he was really sloppy with the ball in the first half.
Yep. Mike Ferg asks, do you think he could learn from Ja Morant's play style? The thing is with Ja is he is super explosive as a jumper out of any situation. So like even if his feet are like, no matter how his feet are planted, no matter how he's running into the last couple of steps he takes before he jumps, he's still able to explode. He's like extremely functional. Scoot doesn't have quite that level of athleticism. He needs to get his feet the way he likes to set up his footwork into his jump in order to really explode. He's not quite the versatile athlete that Ja Morant is. In like Derrick Rose, he gets some comparisons like that as well, but like Derrick Rose could explode out of a jump stop. That's also why he ended up tearing his ACL and tearing his knees up, was because that is a lot of torque, a lot of pressure on those knees. But Derrick Rose, when he was young in his prime, winning MVP, like he's able to just go full speed into a jump stop and then explode in a way like I've never seen anybody being able to do. So I think Scoot is going to have some shades of that type of style play, but like he needs to be a mix between, in my opinion, Chris Paul and like Derrick Rose, Ja Morant, Russell Westbrook, right? That's a pretty good mix if he's able to get if he's able to run the game, run the team the way Chris Paul could, or even anything close to that, and then knock down threes more, at a little higher rate, hopefully, than Ja Morant, Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose become a decent shooter now, but like Russell Westbrook always struggled with that three-point shot. Scoot needs to figure that out. But I think he's just going to be his own player and his own blend of things. So I don't really think he should necessarily focus on a certain player's style of play and try and replicate it.
One thing Ja's really good at too is like he understands whether he has an angle at the backboard or if he's by his defender enough to lay it up low, or if he needs to get up and really attack the rim. And so a lot of times when Ja gets cut off or he sees the help coming, he'll already have decided that he's going to pass in those situations. And that's why he racks up the assists sometimes. It's just like, it's really easy if you can see it before it happens. Like I just mentioned, if you have a big, especially one that chases blocks, you need to recognize as soon as you see him starting to creep over towards your side that you're dribbling on, that you need to try and not necessarily get to your shot, but get to a spot where it freezes the defense and you can have the angle to throw it over to whoever's open. And so he started it's like second year in college. I think he started to become really good at that. So that's just something that I think Scoot, if he wants to get to Ja's level in terms of impact and all that kind of stuff, he needs to learn how to or when to pass out of those situations as well.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of nuances for him to learn. That's why we have to be patient with him. There's a Q&A tab for you guys to ask Q&A questions on. That's what we're going to end the stream with here soon. So you can go ask them there, and then also check out the pinned comment, as if you need a last-minute Christmas gift, Manta sleep masks make for a great gift for the loved one in your life. You can use that link and use the promo code Uprise for 10% off. Played the ad at the beginning of the stream, but they make for a good last-minute Christmas present. If any of you are stressing about that and don't know what to get someone, I got the sound mask. I use it quite a bit. I use it to meditate in the middle of the day. So shout out to them for sponsoring this post-game show. Where's Gabe? Gabe is, I don't know, probably playing 2K. He was in
chat a minute ago. But.
Yeah, probably listening to us and playing 2K if I had to guess. But I'm not sure. But yeah, we were on with him, and then, the post-game show, we go deep in the analysis. So it's a little different vibe over there. Theirs is just like hanging out with your friends, and, acting drunk even though you're not type of thing.
Sundo's probably on Baldur's Gate 3 trying to find some goblins to class.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we keep it more PG than that over here. Oh man, you need to give me a timestamp because, dude, if they had stream highlights from like their best moments, it would be such a good highlight package. But they just reached 8K, so shout out to them. I remember when they were little babies at like 500 subs. So, now they're trying to pass us up. We got to get to 10K before they do. Then they can pass us. It's easier when you got KD, Booker on your team. Once this Blazer team is good, we're going to be on the way up. But definitely a process to get there. Any other player that you wanted to speak about? I guess the only guy that legitimately played that we haven't talked about is Thibault. He's a plus 17.
Yeah, Thibault played really well. Once again, he's just been really steady in his minutes off the bench. And, yeah.
Yeah, 2 for 3 from 3. Only shots he took. He's been a sniper this year. He is shooting over 40% from 3 on the season. You know what's funny is his field goal percentage and three-point percentage are like identical to Jeremy Grant's. I clicked on his page and I thought I clicked on Jeremy Grant's because his splits are from the field and from 3 are exactly the same, but different context. He just shoots open threes, and Jeremy Grant will shoot a bunch of tough ones and then drive, and always have to look at more than percentages, and there's always context that goes into every stat. And we do our best to acknowledge that, explain that, bring that to light. Anyway. Do we have some Q&A questions? We got one Q&A question. Only one Q&A question on the prompt. Shout out JP Savvy. Says, if you could replace Ayton's mindset, everything else stays the same. With another player's, whose would you choose? Whose mindset would we give to Ayton? This is a good question for chat. Let me know in chat. If you could give another player's mindset to Ayton, whose would it be? Shaq? Nurk?
Just kidding.
Yeah, Shaq just physically dominated people. Giannis isn't a bad one, yeah. Eubanks, yeah, I think he already has Eubanks' mindset. Although Eubanks' finish is pretty strong, I'll give him that.
Dwight Howard? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like
Dwight Howard on the court?
Yeah, not mindset on. No, if there's anything wrong with that, I guess. I'm just trying to take on like a more modern player. I mean, like, yeah, of course, put Michael Jordan's mindset in his thing, and he's the best player of all time. But
Hazonia. Honestly, Hazonia's mindset would maybe be better for him, because Hazonia always thought he could do stuff that he couldn't do. But maybe the stuff Hazonia thought he could do is stuff that Ayton could do.
Yeah, I mean, so Garben says Jokic, which, yeah, duh. But, man, can you imagine, like, an athletic Jokic? If he had, like, athleticism with his mind, like, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, with his ability to, like, slow down and just, like, play at a walking pace, too, and score, like... That would be a cheat code. That would maybe be the greatest player ever.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, like, I don't know, because Jokic, I just feel like I don't know what the right word is, but you know how Jokic this summer just like went back home and like didn't play basketball. He said he didn't even touch a basketball this summer and stuff like that. He just like shows up in training camp and starts dominating. But like, I feel like somehow, even if you put Jokic's mindset into Ayton, like that lazy, not necessarily lazy, but like that, like just not doing anything, part of it would outgrow the like hardworking, smart mindset, and like I feel like he would just like completely pack it in and just become like super big and overweight and like and like he'd still be smart, I guess, but like I feel
maybe
like
he needs to get fat. Maybe then he wouldn't be scared to go inside, and he wouldn't be scared of contact if he was just fatter than everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be good fat. You know, there's good fat and bad fat, like, right? So in food at least. So I don't know, man. The league isn't ready for fat Ayton.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, this people hate it, you know, but
yeah,
like if he foul baited like Embiid, like I don't know, like if he just because obviously he can shoot free throws and stuff, so like
Embiid is a good mindset because Embiid shoots mid range, but like doesn't rely on it.
Yeah, so like I just feel like if he had that mindset of I want to get to the line as much as possible, and I know that's like kind of lame to watch or cheap or whatever. You have to have some acting skills as well sometimes, but yeah, like I just wish he had more of a mindset of I don't necessarily need to shoot or like shy away from contact. I want to absorb the contact and accentuate it so I can get to the line more.
Yeah, I feel like Embiid is what Ayton was supposed to be.
Yeah,
like that type of player is what Ayton was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Speaking of fast, should we sign Lofton Jr.?
Yes.
You want him?
Yeah, dude, it's me. So I want him.
He's you, huh? Yeah, all right. Sign Eric Brandt Jr.
I play a lot like him, or he plays a lot like me because I'm older. No, just kidding.
Can we all do a poll for what? We could tempt Fat Ayton. I'm not gonna read that comment off on it. Taylor, you're funny. Oh man. Is Ayton's mindset awful? Because it's gonna be 100, right? Oh, that's the poll question. Is Ayton's mindset awful? I mean, I think most people would agree with that. I don't know. Like his, I don't know. It's kind of hard to fully judge his mindset, but he definitely needs to be more aggressive, and he definitely needs to continue to give effort like he did at the start of the season. Because I didn't have effort complaints earlier in the season. The past couple of games it was pretty bad. So,
yeah.
Yeah, hit the like. Any other questions? If not, this is going to be a shorter post-game stream tonight. We're going to be live again on Thursday with a pre-game stream on our second channel at 3:30 p.m. We'll pick games, spread picks. We have a whole segment, decked out graphics for that, and then we'll preview Blazers versus Wizards. I mean, the Blazers should honestly get 2 wins in a row. They got the Wizards coming up next. But
2 streams on Thursday, one in the afternoon and one after the game.
Yeah, so the one in the afternoon is going to be on our second channel, Blazers Uprise Podcasts, as advertised on the screen. There's a link in the description box below for that. And then we'll have another post-game show against the Wizards. And then the next game is on Saturday. I won't be there for that post-game show. So that'll be Eric with Crushables. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. And then we're off for Christmas. Next Monday won't have a Blazers Uprise Live because it's Christmas, obviously. So, yeah. That's kind of the schedule. Gonna have a couple videos dropping over the course of the coming days. want to do a young trade targets video, and then I've already recorded a video on the Anfernee Simons haters and the narratives against him and how I think they're just kind of ridiculous. So didn't get it out before this game. Now it kind of feels weird to drop it after a loss, but I'll probably drop that at some point. It kind of feels weird to drop it after a win. Yes, correct. 100%. So that's what's coming up.
Should have a Hoops Crush probably Thursday morning as well.
Yeah, and then I need to get back on Scorching Trails with Steven. Steven just brought me on the radio, so I did a 750 guest spot. Shout out to you if you listened. But I did that with Steven, and he was plugging our podcast, so gonna have to get back on the trail. So I'll record something with Steven. I know you guys always love to hear his thoughts. All those podcasts are on our second channel as linked in the description, so go subscribe. Also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 10,000 subs. If you got a friend who likes the Blazers, introduce them to this channel. Because we need a little bit of help right now. We're like 220 away-ish, somewhere in there. So spread the love. We'll see if we can get to 10K. Anything else, Eric?
Thanks everyone for watching, and shout out to you if you watched us on Gabe's stream and Sundo's stream earlier today. If you like being entertained, go subscribe to that channel as well. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Hope to see you on both streams on Thursday.
Yep, there's always a lot of
Blazers. Hopefully Sharpe's okay.
Yeah, hopefully Sharpe's okay. We'll have an update on that on Blazers Uprise Live on Thursday, because there should be an update before then, so we'll talk about that on our second channel at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday. But yeah, that's a wrap. Once again, if you need a last-minute Christmas gift idea, check out Manta Sleep Mask. Link in the description box below and in the pinned comment. If you use promo code Uprise, it helps out the channel, and you get 10% off. So that's like getting us a gift. You can get somebody else a gift. Manta Sleep Mask, they make great products. I use them. I can easily vouch for them because I love their sleep masks. Adjustable eye cups and headbands and all sorts of accessories and all that good stuff. So shout out to them. Thank you, chat, for being entertaining tonight. Always appreciate you as always. This channel would be nothing without you guys, so I always appreciate you guys coming in here and talking with us, hanging out with us, and engaging in the live chat. So keep it up. We appreciate it. Shout out to all of you. And with that being said, we are out of here. We will catch you on Thursday. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!